Welcome to the Buddhistisches Tor Berlin podcast. Here we share talks and reflections from our Buddhist center in Berlin, exploring themes such as meditation, ethics, and the path of awakening in everyday life. We are part of the Triratna Buddhist community, and our talks are offered freely in a spirit of generosity. We hope this episode supports your practice and your life. We'll do something a little bit different in this session. So the theme that I'd like to talk about today is mantra, or specifically Buddhist mantra, because mantra is used in all different kinds of traditions, but I want to talk specifically about Buddhist mantra. And the challenge for me is to not say so much that we don't have some time to actually chant some mantras. So my intention is that we'll have time to experience chanting based on what I've said and see what happens, what it does. Yeah. So I don't know how many of you are in the WhatsApp group for the center, the English-speaking WhatsApp group, but I put a blurb in that earlier in the week, and I'm just going to read out what I said, or part of what I said, because I began by saying what Buddhist mantra is not. Yeah. So what Buddhist mantra is not. So first of all, it's not entertainment. So it might feel good, but we're not doing it just to sort of have a good time. It's not entertainment. It's not singing. Lalitharana told us a brilliant story this morning that he once heard a radio program on the BBC, and they were talking about Tibetan monks chanting, and one of them said, the chanting of Tibetan monks is so fantastic. And the other one said, I disagree, they just can't sing. Because if you've heard Tibetan monks chanting, it's very deep, and it is amazing, isn't it? It has a really powerful effect. And the other one said, no, they just can't sing. So they're slightly discordant, but that produces the effect. I'm not saying that to offend Tibetan monks who can't sing. I'm saying it to make the point that singing is something different. So when we sing, there's a certain pressure on us, isn't there, to sing well and to sing in tune with each other and to be in harmony. With mantra, we don't have that kind of pressure. So it's not about singing, it's not even really about being in tune, although it's nice if things sound harmonious. But if there's a bit of discord, that's okay. In fact, it can make it even more beautiful, as Lalitharana discovered last night at the Friday class, with some discordant chanting. So no pressure. We're not singing. You don't have to do it well. It's not a performance. Then I said, mantra is not background music for making offerings. So if you've been around for a while, you'll know that often when we chant mantras, people come up to the shrine and they light candles and they light incense and they make offerings. But often what happens is once the last person has done that and sat back down, the mantra just stops. As if we were only doing it for people to get up and make offerings and not have the awkwardness of doing it in silence. But it's not that either. So there's a reason that we could chant the mantra indefinitely in the course of a ritual. Even after everybody has stopped making offerings, we could just carry on. The mantra is its own thing. Then I said Buddhist mantra is not prayer. It's not prayer. What I meant by that is that it's not that we are asking for some help from something outside of ourselves that is ultimately real and can do the work for us. So we're not giving up our own capacity and ability. It's difficult because there's something of that nature, and I'll say more about that later, but it's not prayer in that sense. It's not a means of manipulation to get things we want. It's not magic. They are two other things I said. So it's not that we are chanting mantra to get something for ourselves or to stop somebody else getting something. And mantra actually comes from an old magical tradition where you would use it for that reason. So you would chant certain things like spells to get something you want and to stop somebody else getting something or to lose something. But mantra, we're not using it that kind of way. It's kind of the opposite of Buddhism. If we're just doing something to get something, or doing something to bring ill on somebody else, well, that's the opposite of Buddhism. So it's not magic in that sense. Then if we strip away the magic, we're in danger of reducing it to just something that's useful, like a tool or something utilitarian, some self-enhancement technique. And mantra's not that either. So I say mantra's not a mere concentration exercise. There's more to it than that. And then I said, it's not a way to feel all spiritual and show others how spiritual we are. I think I might have been a bit grumpy when I was writing this, but you know the point. Sometimes, and I've done this, so this is a confession, sometimes we use spiritual practice to kind of build an alternative identity that's better than a non-spiritual one. That creeps in. Chogyam Trungpa wrote a famous book, Cutting Through Spiritual Materialism. It was all about that, how we turn spirituality into something that enhances our sense of ego, basically. So mantra is not about that. We could say mantra is cutting through that. So what is it all about then? That was the question I posed in the blurb for the session today. And the textbook answer, or the answer in the book, is that mantras are a series of syllables that come from Sanskrit, from the Sanskrit alphabet. And in chanting them, doesn't make sense in the way that a sentence of string of words might make sense, but it has an effect, it has a power. So most Buddhist mantras you'll have discovered if you've heard them, they usually begin with the syllable Om. Yeah, so Om is like the cosmic sound. Yeah, if the cosmos made a sound, suddenly I have images now of the Artemis space crew and the photographs that I've seen in the week. Maybe when they were up there, they could hear this really resonant Om. I don't know. But Om is like the cosmic sound, reality itself. How does one describe it other than by those means? So when we say Om, it's like everything is vast and open. Yeah, nothing defined, nothing pinned down. And then you get the name of a Buddha or a Bodhisattva. So it could be the Buddha Shakyamuni, who was the historical Buddha. It could be Avalokiteshvara, who we have depicted on the shrine here. It could be Vajrapani, who I've just seen on Britta's screensaver. So Om, Vajrapani, let's say in this case. And then the last syllable is what's known as a bija, or a seed syllable, the essence of whatever Vajrapani is, whatever Avalokiteshvara is, whatever Shakyamuni is. The seed syllable at the end is the essence. So you have Om, the big, vast, indefinable, the Buddha or the Bodhisattva, and then, if you like, both of those together and realized. So Om Vajrapani Hung in that case. That's the book. That's the textbook answer. Well, that's the kind of basic thing you need to know. But to explore a little bit further and look into how we might practically benefit from mantra, I'm going to return to the story of Avalokiteshvara that if you've been coming over the last few weeks, I've mentioned this every time I've given a talk. You can see where my inspiration is at the moment. So it's in this story about the Bodhisattva Avalokiteshvara. And a Bodhisattva is a being, a sattva, who is interested, if you like, only in Bodhi, or enlightenment, awakening. So the story goes, and if you've heard this already, it's fine. I've heard it 1,000 times, and only now is it suddenly really in my mind all the time. So these stories have multiple layers. So just hear it again, listen again. So the story goes that Avalokiteshvara, he has this great wish to alleviate the suffering of all beings in the entire cosmos. It's a big wish, isn't it? But that's his wish. He wants to alleviate suffering wherever it might be, wherever it's found. So he makes a vow before his teacher, who is a Buddha called Amitabha, or infinite light, the Buddha infinite light. So Avalokiteshvara says, I want to liberate all beings in the cosmos from suffering. I will work tirelessly to achieve that and to make that happen. And he says, this is the really tough part. He says, if at any point I have even the slightest selfish thought and wish only for my own happiness rather than the happiness of others, at that point, may my head break into 10 pieces, like the Adzaka plant, which I Googled and found nothing. But anyway, maybe it's a plant that has a tendency to explode. I don't know. So he wants his head to split into 10 pieces like the Adzaka plant, and his body to break into 1,000 pieces like the scattered petals of a lotus. So if he has the slightest selfish thought, that's what he wants to happen. So that's his vow. And then off he goes around the world, encountering the suffering of different living beings, responding to them, helping them, teaching them, the Buddha's teaching, through the mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum. So he does that through mantra. He's responding to the suffering of the world through mantra. And in this case, Om, cosmic, Mani Padme. So those words actually do mean something. So Mani is jewel, Padme in this case, lotus. So Om, jewel, lotus, essence, Hum. So Om, jewel, lotus, Hum. So that's what he does. He's teaching people through the mantra, and then he stops and he goes deeply into meditation. And in the meditation, he has a vision of beings all around the world appearing like an ocean on fire. And he sees that despite all his work, there's still so much suffering in the world. And at that point, he just begins to weep tears of sorrow. And the tears form a great pool. And on the pool, a lotus comes, and another bodhisattva appears called Tara in female form, very beautiful. And she vows to help him in his efforts. And then off he goes again, responding to the suffering of living beings through the mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum. And then after so long, he stops and he looks out again and he sees the same thing. So it hasn't worked. Still there's as much suffering, war, illness, sickness, famine, frustration, disappointment, sadness as there had been all along. And then it happens. Then he thinks to himself, what's the use? Like, what's the point? I'm doing all this work, all this mantra, all this communication, all these responses, and it's not working. And then you know what happens. Because he's made his vow, his head shatters into 10 pieces, his body into 1,000 pieces, scattered like the petals of a lotus. And he cries out in agony to his teacher, the Buddha Amitabha, to help him. And at that point, Amitabha appears, the Buddha Amitabha, infinite light, appears, and Avalokiteshvara is spiritually reborn, we could say, into the form that we have on the shrine here this morning. So the 1,000 pieces are turned into 1,000 arms. So I don't know if you can see it, but the halo-like thing around the body of the figure here, that's 1,000 arms. And each of the arms, or each of the hands rather, has an eye in it. So there are 1,000 eyes to really see the world and respond to the world more effectively. And often the hands have different things in them, different implements or tools that will help him cure or alleviate the sufferings of living beings. And then there's this whole stack of heads. So the 10 parts of his original head are fashioned into 10 different heads, looking in all the different directions. And then right on the top, Amitabha places his own head. So you could say the head of infinite light is placed right at the top. And the symbolism here is that he's had this wish, this compassionate response to the suffering of the world. But the reforming, the wisdom eyes, the different faces, they show that now it's infused with wisdom. So the compassionate action and response is conjoined with wisdom and real insight into how things are. And therefore Avalokiteshvara is free to really continue his responding to the world's suffering in a different way. Yeah. So let's just have a moment with this image or this story and the symbolism of the story and maybe what it's doing to you. And yeah, if that's the third time you've heard it in a month, maybe it's doing something different to the last time. So then the question is, what has that got to do with mantra? That's why we're here today, to explore mantra more fully. So I'm just going to draw out a few points from the story that I think would help us appreciate what mantra is about and what kind of effect chanting mantras can have. Yeah. So it's interesting how the story begins. So Avalokiteshvara has a wish. Yeah. He has a wish, and then in order to enact that wish in the world, he has a mantra. So I would say that we are all in that position. Yeah. So everybody here today, you've come here for some kind of reason, whether that's because you want to respond to the suffering of the world, whether it's because you're suffering yourself and you want to explore how Buddhism can help that, whether it's because you're interested in community and ethics, or you're interested in Buddhism and religion and knowing more about that, or ritual. Whatever it is, you are here because you have some kind of wish. There's a reason you're here and you're looking for something. I am assuming, but I think it's probably true, that there is a wish, individual wish, in the room. And you have mantra, because the mantras are available. Om Mani Padme Hum, there you go, there's a mantra. So even if you've never heard a Buddhist mantra before, I've just told you one. So you have a wish and you have a mantra, just like in the story, Avalokiteshvara has a wish and he has a mantra. So mantra is something that we can simply practice. Maybe you have got some experience of practicing with mantra, maybe not, but it's something we can do. And if you have been experimenting with mantra, either here or elsewhere, maybe you also have had a moment like we have in the Avalokiteshvara story where you think to yourself, what's the point? It's kind of weird, isn't it, that we chant these mantras that are thousands of years old, coming from a culture that's different to the one that we find ourselves in, kind of Germany, Western culture, and this is coming from ancient India and the Sanskrit alphabet. So it can be strange. So maybe we ask ourselves that question, why am I doing this again? I certainly do. Yeah. Or I ask myself, is it really working? What's the point? Is it really working? Is it having an effect? I have to confess, sometimes I just get a bit bored as well. Or I am guilty of this, the background music making. It's like, oh, come on, can we just carry on with the offerings, or do the offerings faster so that we can stop the mantra and carry on and then get an earlier night, or something like that. I have to confess that. So that can happen. We can question, we can doubt whether the mantra works, yeah? Or why are we doing it in the first place? Is it an adequate expression of our wish? Yeah. But what we learn from the Avalokiteshvara story is that we can have a wish, we can have a mantra, we can have doubt. But then in order for it to be really effective and not just degenerate into some form of singing, entertainment, background music, all those things I said mantra is not, something has to break. Yeah? So it might be that for mantra to become effective, something has to break. So what has to break? Yeah? I'm just going to list off like 5, maybe 6 ideas that I've had in the week about what needs to break in order for mantra and its real effectiveness to come through. And it might be that chanting mantra helps us to break certain obstacles down also. Yeah. So the first thing that mantra can help us to break, I would say, is the domination of rational thinking, the domination of the rational mind. Yeah. So a few nods in the room, so that's not news. That often, particularly in our culture here in the Western world, there is a strong tendency towards privileging the thinking mind, the rational mind. Yeah. There's that really big book that everyone always recommends, and I've never got around to reading, The Master and His Emissary by Ian McGilchrist. And his argument is that it's called The Master and His Emissary, Master and His Servant, because in Western culture, the left brain, the thinking, rational part of the brain, has elevated itself to the position of master, when actually it should be the other way around. And the right brain, the more creative, non-rational side of the brain, should be the master, served by reason and thinking and rational thought. Like I say, I've never read the book, but I like the model. So mantra can help to break that because it doesn't make sense, really. I gave that little introduction and explanation at the beginning, but actually we're chanting these syllables. It might have an effect, but we can't really say how it's working. There have been attempts to scientifically prove how mantra works and the vibrations, but I don't think that studies have ever got anywhere. So we can't explain it rationally. So you're chanting a mantra and you're thinking, what the hell am I doing? But maybe that's a useful challenge. Or maybe we have to ask the question, which part of me is doubting this? Yeah? And what else is there? So mantra can begin to break down the dominance of the rational mind. Yeah. Second thing that mantra can break down, I would say, is a kind of neck up Buddhism. Yeah, or an emphasis on, again, cognitive Buddhism, or just mental Buddhism. So the great thing about mantra is as soon as you start to chant, the voice is involved. So it's not just mind, it's also speech. And in order to produce the sound of a mantra, that means our whole body is engaged. You can't chant mantra without your body. And that sounds really obvious. It is an embodied practice. So it breaks us out of thinking that Buddhism is just about mind and mental activity. It's also about speech. It's also about body. And that means it's the whole of us. So when we chant mantra, we do that with the whole of ourselves. Third thing, mantra can help break us out of what is known as prapancha, mental proliferation. So you all know this one. We hear a sound, we think, it's an ambulance going past. Oh, maybe the person was in a car accident. I remember when I was in a car accident and it was my fault and I feel really guilty about it and I've always been stupid and forgetful and unmindful. And so we go from a simple sensory impression to creating a whole world of thought in which we get lost. Yeah. So these thought worlds that we get lost in, mantra is an attack on that, or a way of breaking us out of that. And I would say potentially a more effective way or a more accessible way for a lot of people than meditation. So when we sit and we meditate, maybe we close our eyes, we go inward, that can make it easier to get lost in the thought worlds. If you're chanting a mantra, it will still happen. Like you still drift off and think about something else. But usually people don't stop chanting. So even if your mind has gone somewhere else, your body and your speech are still here. And they're still engaging with the mantra. So we go off, we get lost, but then we come back and the chanting is still going on. Yeah. So the mantra, the power of the mantra is it can really break through that mental proliferation. And then maybe more clarity arises or more calm arises if we were to chant for 10, 15 minutes. Yeah. Try it. So what else did I have? What else does mantra break? Another thing is those three things are about our own experience. So mantra can help us to, what did I say? Break the dominance of rational thinking, drop out of the body and into speech and into, drop out of the mind into speech and into body. And, gosh, I'm slow this morning. And, thank you. Breaking us out of proliferation. But they're all to do with our experience. I think the other thing mantra can do is break us into a more communal experience. So often we chant mantra together. Yeah, you can do it on your own, but often it's done as a communal practice. And that's always interesting, because when you're chanting a mantra with other people, you can either get drowned out by other people or drown other people out. Yeah, so there's something that you have to do to equalize your volume with the collective volume so that you can hear yourself, but you can also hear other people. So just by chanting the mantra, you have to be aware of others. And you have to be aware of the collective sound experience, as well as what's happening for you and the sound that you are producing yourself. So that's just a quick one. It breaks us out of, this is me and my practice, even though I'm in a room full of people. Which again, meditation, sometimes we can slip into that. It's not the case, but it's easy to think that that's the case. All right, and then the last one before we do some chanting. This is a more subtle one. So I think all those things that I've said, they can break us out of certain unhelpful habits. They can break us out of just being with ourselves and into being with others. I think the other thing that mantra can break for us, and this is where we pick up again on the story, is it can help to break down the centrality of our own self-identification. So if you remember in the story, what happens for Avalokiteshvara is he has a selfish thought. Maybe it's better if I just worry about my own suffering and happiness and forget everybody else. And that's when he breaks. Yeah. So you could say all Buddhist practice is trying to loosen, if not break, that centrality of our self-identity. That sense that we're at the center of things, which, let's be honest, we all have. But can we loosen that? Can we even break through that? And if we can, what the story is suggesting is that something else can emerge, something else can come through that is greater than our limited idea of ourselves and expression of ourselves. So mantra, I would say, is a way of breaking down that centrality of self-identification and opening up to something greater than just ourselves. And if you think about it, what we're doing, as I said at the beginning, Om immediately is saying, it's not just you, there's the whole cosmos. Yeah? And what is that? Other than a complete mystery to us, really. So Om, we're already breaking out of self-identity. Then we're saying the name of a Buddha or Bodhisattva who has gone beyond self-identification and is the expression in the world of what we call enlightenment with all its manifest qualities. So Avalokiteshvara's name translates as something like the Lord who looks down. Looks down not judgmentally, but looks down with compassion, with a motherly quality or a parental kind of quality. So he's known as the Lord of Compassion. Vajrapani, I mentioned earlier, the enlightened quality of energy. If you have a look at Britta's screensaver, he's blue and on fire. Yeah, so there's a high energy, wrathful kind of energy. The quality of Manjushri, well, we don't have Manjushri anywhere in here, but is wisdom, the Bodhisattva of wisdom. Tara, the Bodhisattva of compassion, fearless compassion. So when we say the names of these Buddhas or Bodhisattvas, we're evoking a certain quality, this incredible quality of wisdom and compassion. And then we have the seed syllable, the essence. May that be realized also within me. So every time we say the mantra, if you were to say it 100 times, 1,000 times, 100,000 times, you're bringing that quality into the world. Yeah? Or you are evoking that quality in the world. In the old magic tradition, they said, if you say the name of something, it appears. So if you say Avalokiteshvara's name, Avalokiteshvara, whatever he or it is, this great compassion conjoined with wisdom, it's there. So it's breaking us out of this self-identification and evoking these enlightened qualities. Yeah. Okay. So there you go. I think now we'll do some chanting and just see what some of all of those ideas and things have done. So it's interesting how as soon as I say that, everybody starts getting into position, which is really good, isn't it? Because okay, mantra is something embodied, and it would be a good idea if I adopt a certain posture for it. You don't have to have a special posture, but just remember that what we're about to do is we're using our body as an instrument here. Not that it has to be perfectly tuned, but we are using the body as an instrument. And a little tip, so when we chant mantra repetitively, one thing we can look into is, are we holding in the body, or is the body free to chant? And the area where often we get a lot of holding is in the neck, yeah, particularly where the head and the spine meet. So just allow your neck to be free and your head to be balancing on top of the spine. So as soon as we start using the voice, the habit is to stick the chin out. But see if you can do it without doing it. And we're going to chant the Avalokiteshvara mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum. If you've never done this before, just give it a go and see what it's like. And the first time we do it, I will just invite you to bear in mind the first few things I said, so that, okay, you might drift off, you might think about things, but at some point you will come back and the mantra will still be going. So just notice what goes on in your own mind as you're chanting the mantra. Yeah? And at some point I'll ring a bell to bring the mantra to a close. And the first time, let me do it twice, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, and then you can all join in. And I'm just going to grab the bell. And as some of you know, we sometimes have melodic chanting. This is going to be a monotonous chant, just so we can strip back the whole thing of it being singing and having to be nice. Doesn't. We're just making a sound here. Yeah. So just a moment to settle, for me to settle. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. So just sitting quietly for a moment and noticing the effect of that on your mind, but also the body. And also the effect on your relationship to the space and the room and the other people in the room with us. Okay. So for myself, there's a very obvious difference. I don't know how it is for all of you, but my internal energy, let's say, and sensations in the body are different. My experience of the room is different. The atmosphere in the room feels to have changed through doing that. So interesting. I hope it's interesting. So we're going to chant again, and this time we'll do it slightly differently. So just looking at the Buddha at the front of the room, if you are on this side of the Buddha, you're team 1, let's say, and if you're on this, actually you're Mani, and if you're on that side of the Buddha, you're Padme, okay? If you're roughly in line with the Buddha and not sure which side you're on, just choose one or the other, Mani or Padme. Yeah? And when we do it this time, I'll start twice, and then third time is Mani's turn, fourth time is Padme, and then you will both alternate one side after the other. And the reason we're doing it like this is because, like I said, we're tuning in with others, so there's our chanting. This is giving us more of a chance to also hear the mantra. But traditionally it's often said that mantra is more about listening and being receptive. So we think it's active because we're doing the mantra. But actually the quality that we want as we're doing that is to be listening and receptive to the mantra. So this just makes that more explicit because we will chant and then we will receive the mantra from the other side. And also we can think of this quality of compassion that we're evoking through chanting Avalokiteshvara's mantra. That's not something we're doing or putting out there. It's something we're tuning into and opening to and receiving. Yeah? Okay? So, ready? A bit more shuffling. So twice, I do it twice, then Mani on this side, and then fourth time this side, and then backwards and forwards. Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 Padme Hum. So again, just sitting and noticing the effect. And just staying with that listening quality, so the mantra's not sounding anymore, but maybe we just keep listening. So listening externally, but also listening internally. For echoes of the mantra. Okay. So obviously that was a different way of doing it and will have been a different experience. For myself, I have to say I found listening to the mantra is more challenging, and being receptive and staying with other people chanting while I listen more challenging. Maybe that was a common experience, maybe that says something about me that I need to reflect on. So yeah, we were doing it in that way to bring out this quality of listening, so that yes, it's something active, we feel it in the body, but also it's something that we're opening to and listening to. We've got a few minutes left, so I'm just going to invite us to do one more round. This time we'll all chant together at the same time, and we will do the chanting with one of the melodies that you might be familiar with from other rituals at the Buddhist Center. So just bring everything we've explored and what I've said into doing it in this more typical way, the more usual way. And the introduction of the melody, I think it's not a degradation. So that can bring out a certain quality. You know, we have these melodies for a reason. Where they've come from, I'm not sure. It could have been from somebody's personal practice. It could have been they've been picked up from other traditions. But presumably they give expression to different people's responses to, in this case, Avalokiteshvara. So what would the Lord of Compassion, what would the Buddha's compassionate mind sound like? Yeah, so what it looks like, we've got these stylized Buddha figures. Compassion looks like a figure with 1,000 arms and 11 heads from the Indo-Tibetan imagination. So what would compassion sound like? And that's what the mantra represents, what it would sound like in the world. So maybe the melody helps bring that beauty of the mantra out, or give emphasis to that. So I'll chant twice and then you can join in, and we just do this for a couple of minutes, and I'll ring a bell again to finish. Padme Hum. Om Mani 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 Padme Okay. It's always a shame to break that silence after the mantra. So it's interesting, isn't it, how in the chanting the mantra is present, and then when we stop, it's absent, but we somehow feel it, or it can still somehow resonate or echo. So hopefully chanting the mantra together this morning will create that kind of resonance or echo throughout the rest of your day. That would be ideal. So let's hope so. The world needs some more compassion, so you now can carry that echo out into the world with you. And do give mantra practice a try and see if it has the kinds of effects. Don't take my word for it. Go and try it and see what happens. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this talk, you are warmly invited to visit Buddhistisches Tor Berlin in Kreuzberg. We offer meditation, Dharma talks, and courses that support practice in everyday life. You'll find more information in the episode description.